On a certain day in January 1849, a child named Jasper Newton Daniel was born in the village of Lynchburg, Tennessee, United States of America. Born as the youngest son of a family of 10 children to a couple named Calloway and Lucinda Matilda, Jasper was born a very unfortunate person. His mother died when he was born. There is no proper record of Jasper's date of birth. The birth and death records in the village of Lynchburg were later lost due to a fire in the town that completely destroyed the place where they were stored. Jasper's date of birth is also in dispute because of where his mother's body was buried. In 1851, Jasper's father remarried, and as he could not afford to have children, he handed over Jasper to an orphanage in Devastana. Jasper's grandfather and grandmother immigrated to America in the 18th century. His grandfather, Job Daniel, was born in Wales. His grandmother, Elizabeth Calloway, was born in Scotland. Because of this, Jasper's family can be introduced as a group of people who immigrated to the United States from Great Britain. However, there are many problems with Jasper's childhood. Before he was even 10 years old, little Jasper went to work in a distillery owned by a pastor. Historical records say that his father had died during this time, and his stepmother did not want him to return home, so he looked for a job. It is reported that this pastor named Dan Cole had the ability to see the future. Because of this, he saw that Jasper's features would make him a very rich man. Because of this, he has wanted to employ this young child. Jasper Daniel started to be known as Jack Daniel at this time. At a very young age, Jack gained a basic knowledge of the general operations of a distillery. A black slave in Dan Cole's distillery, Dan introduced him as Uncle Nearest to Jack or Jasper Daniel, who came to him as an orphan looking for work. Uncle Nearest is Dan Cole's best brewer. Uncle Nearest's full name is reported as Nathan Nearest Green. He was born to an African slave in America in 1820. After the Civil War in the United States, all the slaves in the country were freed, but Nathan Green had expressed his desire to continue working with Dan Cole, whom he had worked with. He was given the surname Green because he was a slave belonging to a slave firm called Landis and Green. He was employed by this company for a fee under Dan Cole. However, this man had learned more about alcohol production than any of the whites. He had a special method of making alcohol using sugar and stone. It is not clear how he came to know about this. But in Africa, there was a system of purifying water using stones. Because of this, there is also a problem as to whether Nathan Green was actually born to a slave or a slave brought from Africa. However, under Nathan Green, Jack Daniel received good training in this business. According to several sources, Jack started his own distillery in 1965. According to reports, the 3 eldest children of Nathan Green were the first to work in this distillery. George Green, Eddie Green, and Ellie Green were the 3 children who came to work with Jack in his distillery. Nathan Green was married to Harriet Green. This couple has 11 children, as 9 sons and 2 daughters. However, there are no historical records about whether or not Jack received the support of Dan Cole to start this distillery. In 1866, he registered the Jack Daniel brand. Jack Daniel's brand label says registered in 1866. Later, Jack got involved in a case with the children of his father's second marriage regarding an estate that belonged to his father. It was clear that he had money in hand to get involved in a case like this because it was not an easy thing to sue at that time. However, he won this case and started the distillery in that estate. According to the book Blood and Whiskey, The Life and Times of Jack Daniel, written by Peter Krause in 2004, the distillery was registered under the name of Jack Daniel in 1875. It is reported that Dan Cole joined his business, which was started in 1875. But for some time, Dan Cole has entrusted his business to Jack Daniels and started living a religious life. Along with all this, the business run under the name of Jack Daniels has expanded even more. By 1880, Jack Daniel's liquor has become one of the 15 most famous liquors in the United States. In 1884, Jasper Daniel purchased the land and building at 55 Lynchburg, Tennessee, where this distillery still stands today. He had worked to expand his business in that place. In 1897, he introduced the square-shaped bottle instead of the traditional liquor bottle in the United States. The old number 7 on the Jack Daniel's whiskey bottle refers to the number that Jasper Daniels first registered his Jack Daniel's business with the U.S. government business list. But later, this has changed to number 16. But Jack had continued to use the old number on the labels. Behind all these successes, there was a black man named Uncle Green, or Nathan Nearest Green, who was following him like a shadow to Jack when he was a child. Jack never forgot him and his family, not only his children, but even his children's children. Jack worked in his distilleries. Similarly, Nathan Green's family gradually became a wealthy family with Jack's help. In the world-famous photo below of Jack Daniel's leaders, including Jasper Jack Daniel, this black man sitting next to Jack Daniel is George Green, son of Nathan Green. Because of this, it is clear that the Green family had a special place in the Jack Daniel's business. At the St. Louis World Fair held in 1904, Jack Daniel's whiskey received a gold medal. It was the first confirmation of the quality and popularity of that whiskey drink. Jasper. Jack Daniel never married. Because of this, he had no children. He later transferred his business to Lemuel Motlow, a son of his sister named Finetta. By this time, Mr. Nathan Green had passed away, and in 1911, Jasper Newton Daniel, or Jack Daniel, who created this excellent business called Jack Daniel, as well as the unique whiskey drink, passed away. It is handing over this huge business to the next generation. Today, Jack Daniel's produces more than 16 million cases of whiskey a year. Similarly, their annual net profit is about 121.7 million US dollars. So this is how Jack Daniel, a young orphan, and Nathan Nearest Green, a black slave, created this huge business together. Finally, it should be remembered that there is a type of whiskey called Uncle Nearest, like Jack Daniel's, and it is a whiskey drink that was started in memory of Uncle Nearest, who helped Jack Daniel's business succeed. Similarly, Nathan Nearest Green is still considered to be the first and greatest black man of African American descent to be active in the production of alcohol,